Can we just do this every year? This is good. This is good.
Hell yeah.
All right. We will go ahead and get started. I think William will be in here in just a few minutes. But in the interest of time, we will go ahead and start with questions for Jeff or Rudy. Like I said earlier, we're going to go straight to questions. So if you have one, go ahead and raise your hand. And to kick us off, we'll go to Jenna Fryer.
Hey guys, congratulations. Jeff, with this win, William broke your record as youngest winner with 2 Daytona 500 victories, back to back.
I hope he breaks them all.
Okay.
I'm full support of that.
Can you talk a little bit about William and how he's developed?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have witnessed it and seen it, right? We talk all the time about how quickly, he's risen through the ranks and won races and championships and continues to do it at the elite level in Cup. And, I mean, this guy right here, I think, has a lot to do with it. Rudy's just, such an amazing crew chief. And when you get that combination of a great talent like Williams and talent like Rudy's, and then you put the team together with it, the resources that we have, magical things happen. So, and you couldn't ask for it to happen to better people too. Williams is just a great guy and cares a lot about the sport and the team, and so you wish good things for them. I was telling him must be living right because the seas parted today.
That's what I was going to ask for William and Rudy. Like, it was like you guys were not really in this race, and then all of a sudden the seas parted, and you're the winner. Like, can you both kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, well, I think you can't underestimate the amount of preparation and teamwork that we had throughout the week. I mean, we had an awesome car today. We just didn't have the track position to show it, and the way the fuel savings and strategy worked out. So last year was kind of the opposite. We were always up front, and this year it just wasn't that way. And so I felt like for us, we just were trying to stay positive, and I felt like each restart there at the end, we were still optimistic about our chances to get forward. And yeah, obviously it worked out in a fortunate way for us, but it's not all luck to win twice in a row. So it's a lot of teamwork and a lot of talking with my spotter and us 3 working together and making the most of it. So definitely fortunate, but definitely a lot of teamwork.
Yeah, for me, I just looked up and seen him ahead. I have no idea how that happened. So I'll take the other side of it a little bit. I was just happy to say, holy cow, that orange car's ahead. So.
All right. Our next question will come up front to Mike Hembry, and then we'll go to Bob Pockris.
Rudy, so much happened over those last 50 miles. Oh, I'm sorry. Mike Hembry, Auto Week. So much happened over those last 50 miles. Were you in Williams' ear about all that and watch your P's and Q's or find a lane or whatever? You're pretty sure something else is going to happen, right?
Yeah, I think when the cautions came out, we kind of were a little disappointed where we were running, but we just said, let's just take our shots here and there, So at one point we thought we were 20th on one of the wrecks, and we ended up getting a couple spots from a lucky lineup, and then he just stayed in it, and we had some really good pushes and moves on the outside, and I didn't have much to do with that. We, preparation previously, but William and Brandon did all that.
All right, Bob.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. For William, did people make dumb moves and stuff, or is that just? I heard like 10 times. Oh, that's just super speedway racing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, I think it's just the nature of. These cars don't push and receive pushes very easily. It looks like it's in control, but the car has a lot of drag. So when you come off the corner, it's easy to get to somebody's bumper, but the cars don't get pushed easily. You have your hands full the whole straightaway. So I feel like what created the ending the way it was a lot of lane swapping, and anytime you had that amount of lane swapping, you had a lot of runs coming from behind. So I feel like that's kind of why you saw what happened at the end.
All right. Our next question will go to Zach Albert.
Zach Albert, NASCAR.com for William. What was it like to be reunited with the car you won with last year, and what's it like to send one back to across the way?
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed. We lose probably a good car, so
I'm bummed about that one.
Probably bummed about that because last year's was backup car, but yeah, I mean it's really special. I think that I'm not much of a historian. I guess like I'm still in the midst of my career and just trying to continue to progress. But really special the ceremony that they have here and everything that we're able to be a part of, and I think it'll be just as special next year. And last year, I guess I was looking ahead really quickly about the rest of the season. I think this year I'll enjoy this race, and then we'll get down the road and get focused on the year.
Speaking of historian, no one has won this race 3 years in a row. So for any of you guys, I mean, are you guys going to come loaded for bear 2026?
Yeah, I mean, they gave me, like I said, they gave me everything I needed tonight. I kept getting more pissed off as the race went on because I wasn't taking advantage of it because my car was really good. But yeah, I'm sure they'll bring me a great car next year, and we'll try to go after it.
All right, Holly.
William, all week when I spoke with you, you really seemed to have a certain confidence about what your expectations were tonight. Did you feel like even as the race went on and whatever crazy stuff was happening, that you were still very much in it and that this was, going to be something you had a say in?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like our team we have a really good process. And I mean, if you look at our results at the end of last year, I just feel like this team is really experienced and capable of overcoming adversity. So, I mean, the way we ended last year and the consistency and I never feel like we're out of it. So it's just all week I felt like we were doing everything we needed to do to get to this point. The race didn't go like that, so I was kind of steaming inside the helmet. But I think that our team is plenty capable of just putting races like this together, and we're never out of it. That's what I want our team to be like, is experienced and tough. And I feel like, there's no race that we can't kind of overcome adversity.
All right, we'll go Jacob Seelman, and then Stephen will go to you next, okay?
Jacob Seelman, Race Face Digital, one for William and then one for Rudy. William, 2 years ago at this race, you hadn't experienced any of this yet. How did the emotions from this race, coming back here and winning it a second time, differ or compare to your first Daytona 500 a year ago?
Yeah, I think we just kind of had confidence all week that we could, like I said, we could just overcome whatever was happening in the race. And I think that confidence showed tonight just with being able to put yourself in a good position. And yeah, last year I think I was a lot more skeptical of the race and kind of how it plays out.
And for Rudy, you've done a lot of special things with this kid since you guys hooked up, going all the way back to the Truck Series. What is it about him that has made the relationship between the two of you so fruitful on the racetrack? And then also, for you personally, what does it mean now to have two of these Daytona 500s?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is our 20th win together, so that's pretty amazing, if you count them all together. So it's special just because of our relationship and our trust in each other and how we respect each other and grow. We don't get stale. We're not afraid to talk to each other and get through things. So and that is just a mutual respect to be mature and get through things. And then personally, I mean, last year, like that win brought me to tears, and then this win it brought me to laughter, is what I said, is because it was just like I looked up and we're getting ready to win, and it was just it was amazing. Here we were. So two totally different emotions, and if we build a good enough team, things like this happen more times than not, and that's what we've been working on, and it'll hopefully just become easier and easier as we go.
All right, go ahead.
Stephen Toronto, CBS Sports. This will be a question for Jeff. You just referenced, Joey doing this and that at the end of the race. You were very frank in saying that. I'm sure you saw the crash with Ryan Preece. He was also very frank in how he was fortunate to get out of the car, but that we're close to someone not being able to get out of the car after an accident like that. You come from an era where super speedway racing was not like this at the end, and you also come from an era where there was no guarantee of your safe return at the end of the race. I was just wondering if you agree with Ryan's comments about this not being sustainable from a safety standpoint, and if it isn't, what you think NASCAR should do to either better keep the cars from going airborne or make it so that we don't see this sort of thing at the end of a super speedway race?
I didn't hear his exact comments, so I don't want to necessarily, go off of what he might have said or some of the things that he said. So, what I will say is, ever since I came into NASCAR and we went on a super speedway, that conversation has been happening, especially when they went to restrictor plates and started, pack racing. It's always been on the drivers' minds, and it's always been that balance between entertainment and luck of the draw, or whatever you want to call it, and then there's the safety aspect of it too. The cars, as they continue to be bumper cars at 200 miles per hour, then you're going to have a lot of wrecks, and the cars have gotten much safer though as well. So for him, was that 2 years in a row, or was it 2 years ago that he had that other incident? Of course he's going to be vocal about that. You never want to get airborne in a car once, let alone what he's been through. So I know NASCAR always is looking at those incidences and trying to figure out what they can do better to keep the cars on the ground. So I think as teams we'll offer everything we can, but we're focused on building fast race cars to go win and be safe, and we have to rely on NASCAR to do the testing to try to keep the cars on the ground and be as safe as possible.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Do we have any questions in the press box?
Questions from press box?
Okay. We'll come back down. Chris, did you have a question? All right.
Chris Gollin with News Daytona Beach. First of all, congratulations to all three of you guys and the entire organization for a historic win going back to back. My question is for Jeff specifically. So Jeff, you won this race in a certain, depending on how you look at it, you've won this race in 3 different ways. You won it 3 times as a driver. You won it twice listed as the car owner for Jimmy Johnson, and now you've won it 2 times as the vice chairman of Hendrick Motorsports with William Byron. So I was wondering if you could kind of speak to how those kind of, I don't know where you personally view your win tally in this race.
3.
3? Well, there you go.
I was like, you're rattling off a lot of stats there.
One more than William Byron. Until next year.
He might be coming for you there.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if you could speak to how the emotions of going through Daytona 500 wins in those 3 different ways differ and compare to one another.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's nothing, when you've been a driver and a part of the team and you go through that process, there's nothing like going to victory lane and just going to battle with them and then seeing the rewards. With Jimmy, I was racing against him, so it was one of those, if I can't win, I want him to win. But if I finished second to him winning, I probably wasn't still happy. So, but to see him come along and be a part of that was sort of my introduction to being in this role. But now, because I'm not driving, I get to spend time in the shop, see these guys, hear what they're doing and planning, and the strategy and what kind of team that they're building and the things they're doing to get better each week and every year, and just get to know them personally. And that's what makes it rewarding for me is and Rick has always said, it's all about the people, right? And so when you get to know the people on a deeper level by knowing more than just the people that are right there on your race car, your race team, it makes these moments really special to be a part of. Now, today I was pretty shocked because you get the buildup and anticipation of, man, I think we're in position to win this thing. Let's, and you get tense because you want it for them and you want it for the organization. But today I wasn't like that at all. I was like, oh, well, darn, guess we're not going to get it this year. And then here we are. So it's kind of a wild ride.
Congratulations, and if you're back again next year, I'm going to have a heck of a stat for you.
All right, great. Can't wait.
All right, we'll go to Davey and then Kelly. Go ahead, Davey.
Davey Siegel with Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Congrats, guys.
we
For
are.
William and Rudy, Jeff was telling us in Victory Lane that, William, he saw a very different preparation from you this week, just knowing that you could get it done, given what you did last year. So what did that look like for you? Like, could you sense something different within yourself? Your preparation was different. And then for Rudy, how did you see that manifest in him as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think my week was just a lot more balanced, and I think that's just been a lot of really just work off the track too, just trying to figure out what works for me. And I think that we had a great week of prep, really. I think, honestly, just from our phone calls and conversations and the way we wanted to approach this week and this season has been really, really good. So we kind of got off, I did a lot of traveling in the off season, so I was probably a little bit more MIA than normal, but I feel like, we came back together the last couple weeks and got back into our rhythm and just excited for the season. So to answer your question about the week, I think it just flowed normally, and I was really excited to get down here. That was a different feeling. I feel like typically I've been kind of dreading this race somewhat, so that was exciting.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's the confidence is really in the whole team. It's really that everybody is be able to pull their weight and knows what to do and has the experience to do it. So being able to lean on each other instead of feeling like, he's got to be Superman, or I got to do something special, or Brandon Lyons got to do something special. We're all just pulling the weight, a little bit more evenly and feeling comfortable about it, So, and then, week of prep, I think the biggest thing is 10 days ago, we took Friday afternoon off when some people were working on their cars, and we played golf.
Yeah,
As the whole team went out and played golf, we kind of called it a team outing, and then we qualified 21st on Wednesday. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to catch a rash of shit for this. So
That is so true.
Now I'm over it. So Chad can't yell at me anymore.
Yeah, we had a great golf outing for sure. This guy, he's a good teammate.
Yep. No, don't.
Well, we played best ball, so.
They used 2 of my balls all day.
All right. Microphone to Kelly, please.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. William, on the podcast, you said about coming back here after winning last year, you felt lighter. How did that help, I guess, kind of piggybacking off of what Davey was asking, how did that help just the way you approached the moves you made in the race and certainly coming down to the end there?
Well, I thought it was going to help. I don't think it really helped me throughout the race, honestly, just looking at kind of the way it unfolded. But I do think towards the end of the race, I knew how to get the best finish. I knew what situations I wanted to put myself in. I was kind of like confident where I was going to choose on the restarts and things like that. So I think that comes, anytime you win, like that's what happens. When you face adversity, you've kind of been there and experienced it. And so that honestly was it, really. I think it didn't really change a lot on the racetrack besides that, and just kind of throughout the week, probably our conversations and being confident what I needed.
All right. Any final questions? Okay, we'll go to Deb.
Deb Williams, Auto Week. Congratulations. With this victory, Hendrick Motorsports now has 10 Daytona 500 wins, the most of any team and the most of the series, one more than Petty Enterprises with 9. Could you please comment on now that you're leading with Daytona 500 victories?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it today when the Speedway was handing over the car from last year, and Rick was there, and William and myself, and it was definitely on Rick's mind. He knows stats like that. He knows numbers, not just in racing and in the automobile business too. You just ask anybody. So yeah, he was certainly well aware that he was at 9. And listen, he's always had the most respect for Petty, for other organizations that have accomplished a lot. He's such a, what I love about him is how humble he is, because even earlier today he was talking about, I can't believe in 1983 I came down here and was just, they wouldn't even let me in the garage area. And then in 84 he starts racing, and now he's, going, at that time he was saying, I'm going for 10 Daytona 500 wins. So it blows his mind when he really goes back and thinks about it. But it was also on his mind that he likes to raise the bar and likes to be number one. And so it was certainly something that he said, man, let's go get number 10. So I spoke to him on the phone, and it's one of the first things he says, we got number 10. So it means a lot to him. And, now these cars, because they do hold them in Daytona USA the way, or I don't know, they used to call it Daytona USA when I won here in the 90s. But, now Rick preserves these cars. He's such a collector. And whether you call it a historian or just you look at the way he collects, he'll take this car, when the car from last year, and he'll put it right in the museum and have a special place for it. And then he'll have a special place for this one. And, when he sees those cars, that's him reminding himself how fortunate he feels like he is to be a part of this sport in the way that he is.
Yeah, Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel. Yeah, William, your travels, I was scouring the internet real quickly to catch up, but Japan, but I see. But where'd you go? What'd you kind of get from those experiences and kind of bring back to be recharged?
Yeah, I just honestly, when the off season started, I didn't have any trips planned, but I knew that I wanted to travel, and so I came up with like 6 trips basically, and the first one was Japan. And honestly, for me, it was just experiencing a culture that was completely different and unique from what I experienced, here in the States. And it was really cool because I went there by myself, and I was really nervous about that. I felt like I was going to kind of be out of place. And
I still don't believe that he went by himself.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get all the answers to that.
It was crazy. So just but yeah, just I think honestly for me the first day and a half was really, really crazy, and just being there and trying to figure out where to eat and what to do. And but by the end of the trip, I had such a different perspective on kind of my life and what I want to do back home, and what I could learn from their culture. And it was just it was cool just to be, completely anonymous in a different country and not know anybody. It was pretty unique. So and they have a lot of history there, and the way they integrate that with their daily life and the way that people respect each other, it's pretty cool. But yeah, other trips I did, and we did a couple other trips, throughout the States. That was cool too, and enjoyed that. But he was probably like, "Where are you?"
It was tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? No, we talked like
Yeah, we text
every
back
now
and
and then.
forth,
Yeah.
but I used to seeing him a little more.
I have another one for Jeff. What do you make of Kyle Larson's difficulties at super speedway racing?
Whew, man, that's rough.
Well, he's so good at everywhere else.
Yeah,
Like,
there you go. There you go. That's
It's
perfect.
incredible.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, the guy's not perfect. No, I think, yeah, now I'm starting to see it's getting in his head. Like I've had a few conversations with him, and like, man, just go for it. Just forget about it. Don't try to even overthink it. But you can't, when that many races in a row doesn't go your way. So, I don't know what advice to give him other than, all I told him today is just be Kyle Larson. Don't try to be something you're not. Don't try to, look at what somebody else is doing that's having success. Just go out there and execute, and the things will turn around and come your way eventually, I think. I noticed that. I mean, I can be hard on him because I love Kyle, and I think he's amazing. But
Just wait till we get to Vegas, and it'll just be ripping.
yeah. I don't know. It's a head scratcher for sure for he and Cliff and the whole team. But yeah, I'm sure they'll figure it out.
All right, Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. William, Rudy said he cried the first time and laughed this time. I'm curious, were you laughing too? And then, I mean, somebody from the outside who doesn't follow will say, well, gosh, if you laugh about it, like, did you earn it? So can you kind of put those two things, if you were laughing, in perspective? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think, well, I was thinking about this with a few laps to go. Like, everyone in this series is so incredibly good that there's never a fluke, in this series. And that's just, when you get around this long enough, you respect everyone that you race against and what it takes. But I didn't know how to feel after we took the checkered. Like last year was it was definitely easier to understand the emotions. But this year was different. Like I just didn't know how to feel when we took the checkered. But as it sets in, you can't take the win away. It is what it is, and we're gonna enjoy it as a team because there's so much hard work that goes into it. But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
And I didn't mean it was a joke. It just meant it was laughable that the way things happened. So.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. William, you mentioned going to other countries and kind of enjoying that anonymous feeling there. How have you noticed your, I guess, public stature rise as your success has continued and your career has grown into what it has become?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still like a very normal person. Like, so it just, yeah, I feel like, it's nice to be recognized for what you do in racing circles and people understand who you are. And I'm just trying to show that. Like, I finally I've gotten comfortable enough to start showing what I like and don't like. And that's just a never ending process because I came from really, like, I was not in this sport at all. So I was very much an outsider. And I think that starting to get my comfort in that and kind of overcoming some imposter syndrome of just, okay, I'm a race car driver. I deserve to be here. And that's like a never ending process, really. And just being comfortable with that. Mm-hmm.
All right, Michael, did you have a question? Okay.
Michael Massey, front stretch. William, you were teammates with Jimmy. You drove for Dale. Jeff, obviously, you were teammates with both of them. I mean, I know the win, y'all winning tonight's the best part, right? But does it add any more to it that, Jimmy his team had the best night of their existence, and then Dale, the debut of his team, they get a top 10?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but I think that those are two legends. Absolutely. I mean, I think that I've learned a lot from both of them and probably could learn a lot more for sure. So I think it's just cool to, at one point I was behind Jimmy with like 25 laps to go and just seeing him still out there wheeling it. I mean, his race car was pretty loose and he's still just throwing it around. So it's, that's just Jimmy. So it was really cool to be out there with him. And yeah, Dale being in, having his car in the race was really special too. We missed him at the Thirsty Beaver. We had some beers, Dale and I did, and this guy left early. So
yeah, that's what I do these days. I'm sorry. Yeah, I had fun while I was there. A lot of domestic beers at that establishment. It's hard to find an import or an IPA. I found that out. But I'm sorry I missed you. I won't miss the next drink.
It's all good.
We got to celebrate tonight. Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a couple more questions and then we're going to wrap. But I'm going to go ahead and let Rudy go so you can finish up your interviews and get to tech. Thank you.
Way to go, Rudy.
All right, I think we have a question right here in the back.
Scotty Sprinkle, Raceface Digital. Question to Jeff, then a question to William. Jeff, you've made an incredible legacy driving the number 24. Looks very similar to what William has this season as well. What are the emotions for you seeing William be so successful in a car that you made so famous and also to shatter your records? For you emotionally, what is it like?
Well, emotionally, because I'm a part of it, so I'm happy. I love to see the 24 team continue to have success and Hendrick Motorsports in general. But I think it's more special because I've gotten to know William, and he's just a good guy, and he, like this is a dream come true for him. And it's been a pretty fast, rise to get here, but it hasn't come without a lot of hard work, and he puts in the work, and there's nobody more appreciative of it as well. So, yeah, no, I'm just proud of him, and I know the fans that I get to interact with. There was a period of time where they were sad that I was not in there, and I can see their excitement now that that legacy continues on because of what William and the team are doing. So yeah, that's great.
And then William, you've become a whole lot more than just the driver of the 24 for Hendrick. You've really made your own legacy in that car, especially the last 2 years, breaking Jeff Gordon's record tonight as the youngest multi-time Daytona 500 champion. What is it like for you to have made your own legacy out of something that was so famous?
Well, I don't think I have a long way to go. You have 93 wins or something. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, honestly, just when I got in the car, I was super, I think, honestly, uncomfortable with all the pressure and everything that comes with driving the 24 car. Now it's like, okay, we're building our own team. We have cool paint schemes. We have awesome sponsors, and just it's starting to all come together, and we're really getting a personality to our team. So it's been fun to see that evolution, and obviously he's supporting it all the time, and it's cool to see him so involved. I mean, to see him on he doesn't know this, but to see him on qualifying night and be down there watching, and just he's at all the events, all the competition meetings, so he works hard. This guy.
Thank you.
Never takes a day
Tell the
off.
boss that,
Yeah.
please. I'll just add one other thing is we went up to Philadelphia. Obviously when it was DuPont, it was my sponsor from the very beginning, and now being Exalta, and to see them embrace him, right? To see them, just continue to just double down on the sponsorship and the B2B with Hendrick Automotive Group, and know that they've got a guy behind the wheel that's going to take them to victory lane and win big races and race for championships. I know he's going to win championships in the future. To see the excitement in our sponsors that are part of that is also kind of just verification of what he's accomplishing and doing. Yeah.
All right, a question in the back, and then we're going to come up front to Zach. Go ahead.
Jessica Garcette, University of Florida. My question is for William. So your love of racing rooted in your early years of iRacing. You're now back-to-back Daytona 500 winner. What have you learned on your journey here, and what would you say to the kid in their room who dreams of being a driver but can only start with a sim rig?
Yeah, I mean, that excites me, just thinking about young kids and their passions. I mean, I think that you've seen it across all sports. You'll hear crazy stories about different athletes or whatever it is. You just have to, whatever it is you're interested in, you just have to go for it and just continue to do it no matter what anyone says. I feel like it's all about your passion for something, and I knew racing was what I wanted to do. I had no passion in anything else, so this is what I stuck to and loved. Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll take our final question up front from Zach.
Zach Tansready, kickingthetires.net. Jeff, we heard last year that Tom Cruise was interested in a Days of Thunder sequel. You two have been close for a number of years. Just curious if he ever reached out to you with any thoughts, and what would you think of seeing NASCAR back on the big screen?
I mean, I am seeing just a lot more momentum in projects coming through NASCAR and coming to Hendrick Motorsports and just more interest. And so that's good, right? It talks a lot about where the sport's at, where it's heading. I mean, the amazing crowd, that was here all week and not just today. New TV partners. So I do think that there's this kind of resurgence, which is awesome. And there's also a whole new landscape of opportunities with streaming services and docuseries and also the big screen, which I think it would be amazing to do. Hendrick Motorsports being a part of that project, hard to imagine how you pull that off today, because they actually had race cars with cameras in the race, and the cameras were big. Cameras have gotten a lot smaller, so maybe you could pull it off, but how do you do it and make it realistic and really authentic? But I've absolutely talked to Tom about it, because I want him to do the project, and we want to be a part of it if it were to happen. So, and he seems to like to tease it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, and if that doesn't happen, I feel pretty confident there's a project out there that will get NASCAR back on the big screen, if not just a really cool docuseries or something beyond even what we're already seeing right now. Yeah.
All right. Congratulations, guys. Thanks again for spending time with us.
Starring William Byron.
Yeah, Days of Thunder would be cool. That'd be pretty sweet, you know.